A sales funnel is built in a way, it's a psychological process that actually affects the person choosing it. It starts at the very top of the pain point. That person, they've clicked on an ad or they've clicked on a bit of content that has sent them to this page. So they're there for a reason. So you've got them there. They've a problem, you've the solution. So hit them where it hurts. Do you suffer this? Do you struggle with this? Do you hate this?
See if you can design, fantastic. If you can shoot video, fantastic. And you can put sales funnels, fantastic. How does LinkedIn work? How does the algorithm work on Instagram? Bad behaviour's changed prior to COVID. If you get somebody to engage for 45 seconds, you're pushing it.
What about you? And welcome to the Roots to Revenue podcast. This is the podcast that helps small businesses grow. Now, before I tell you about today's fantastic guest, let me tell you about the sponsor. I use software called Jobber to manage my own business. It's easy for me to recommend, as I've used it for the last 10 years to run my own business. It does my scheduling, my quoting and my invoicing, but best of all, it gets me paid faster and my customers love it. If you want to try it out, there's going to be links down in the video description. Now, in the studio today, I've got a company that has really helped me push forward with a lot of different things, and we've got Henry and Alex here. So they're both from Creative 3. Henry, would you like to tell us a bit about yourself?
Henry McCrory. I run a company with Christopher McLennan called Creative 3 Media. Christopher and I have been working together for about 28 years. We started off in the print trade back in the day when print was all the rage. Then we just basically moved with the trends, Robbie. Started to do websites, which Alex is one of the main contributors to the business. Creative 3 through his web development. Then we moved more into the social media when Zuckerberg came on the scene and started changing the landscape and how we communicate. Then we embraced, as what you guys have done here in a fantastic way, video content. So obviously people receive content in a lot of different ways at the minute, but one of the main powerhouses is video content. So that is one of the main thrusts of our business.
I'm going to just jump in and say, so a couple of years ago, although I'd already been making videos, I did a short video course with you guys. You run a course that takes a day. Yeah, and you can come along if you're a small business in Northern Ireland and find out how to make videos. Yeah. And even as somebody that makes videos professionally, I found it really good, and I took a lot away from that course.
Good,
so
good.
Yeah, just to give you
that's no. Thank you so much. That is something that is part of our ethos of business. We always want to sow into, as much as that was a paid course. We actually had, I think, about 12 or 15 people on that particular day. You were there, Robbie. And again, but one of the things I love about that, I love to see people grow their own personal brand. Personal brand's a big thing for me, because if you can't push your personal brand, the reality is your corporate brand's going to be affected by it. So that was one of the reasons why we actually started that particular course. Again, Alex works in the background of that.
I do everything behind the scenes.
Do you want to even give from your perspective, Alex, what do you see in the landscape and how those, as Robbie has said, how those type of courses have helped the community?
They're brilliant. It's basically what Henry was saying. It's the results. It's seeing the after bits. It's seeing going on to people's LinkedIn, going on to people's YouTube, seeing them put the effort in, seeing them the ability to lift their phone out of their pocket.
Everything you need to record is on your phone.
Everything you need to record is in your mobile phone. It is very capable. And it's the results. It's seeing people then go away from the course doing it, and then us watching, being there on hand to give them if they need any tips, tricks. But it's the results side of it. It's seeing people actually put the videos out. And as you say, it's people building their brand. Yeah. And you get to watch their journey, and that's incredible.
Yeah, and you have to be consistent with it, Rob. You know that. You're the epitome. Well, so you know the score. You've seen the power.
You have to keep pushing forward, and media is a massive thing.
But it is. It's a powerful medium. And again, coming back to the personal brand, you know, if our viewer or our audience today is small business, I can't stress enough how important a personal brand and a personal strategy is to promote not just yourself, because that people struggle with imposter syndrome quite a bit. You know, what am I going to say? How am I going to communicate? You know, I've got a face for radio, but the reality is
anyone's got a face for radio.
no, right. I think you're the Brad Pitt of the Premier Lawnmower. But you know what I mean? But you put yourself out there, you know, and it's been a real success for you. But you've lifted this to a whole new brand. And
I sat down. As soon as I sat down, I looked around. I really like the setup. I love the setup.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Jason, because Jason's actually who's
yes, apologies, Jason. We stole Jason's seat.
I stole Jason's seat.
Jason's more of I come up with ideas, and I say to Jason, can we do this? And he's like, I don't know. And then if we can, then he usually puts it together. So
That's good. It is, but it's a fantastic setup, and how you can move from standing on a lawn, shooting a video on your phone, to having a setup.
Do you want to give a wee shout out to your podcast?
Yeah, it's called The Business Hustle.
The business hustle.
And it's a the ethos is very similar to yourself, where you want to promote people in business, people around Northern Ireland, north and south, and somewhere along the line we're going to obviously beam people in from Europe and the Americas and stuff with some fantastic connections. But again, the ethos is let's build small, medium enterprises, and let's grow people's personal and corporate brand. That's what we're about.
And also give back by adding value. Definitely.
And if somebody's starting up in business, Henry, what sort of advice would you give them? Because you did a TEDx talk a couple of years ago when I was at it. It gave me a real sort of mindset shift in a lot of things, and it's helped me get to where I am, where we're all sitting here now.
Very good.
So what would you, for someone starting up, what's the most important thing in business? We've talked about this before, and you say mindset, but would you like to...
Mindset, obviously you've got the fundamentals of starting up a business through Companies House and all that, and bank accounts and all that. Good stuff that comes naturally. But one of the things that I find is your environment is one of the most important things around you. You've obviously got market leaders. I would always encourage someone, don't look at the Amazons of this world, but look at someone who's maybe 4 or 5 steps ahead of you and start to implement. You know, we had Peter from Nomadic on last week, and he said success leaves clues. And that's one of his big takeaways in life, is he looks at someone who has been a success in a particular area, and then he would start to implement some of the small steps that takes you there. You know, when we look at social media now, we look at people who come out of the woodwork and are a uber success and making millions and stuff. That's probably the exception rather than the rule. Yeah. But the process is there, and surround yourself with the right relationships is always good. I am a big networker and heart, not to go and get business, but to be around people of like mind. I'm inspired by being here today. I'm going to go back and probably do the guys' heads in regards to the setup. No, genuinely am.
That's a lovely.
We definitely will. Straight in.
That's a lovely compliment, because
the video team are getting it.
I wouldn't have come up with in here without a couple of times you guys let me come in and have a look at your setup, and that gave me a lot of inspiration to this. And then I have Jason. You guys need a Jason, just not my Jason.
We need a poach Jason.
But no, we have a great team there. Obviously, ours is very creative led, purely because. But I think the fundamentals of what you have done here is absolutely amazing. And sound quality, obviously, you've invested. You've done it. You've went about it the right way. You've obviously taken whatever you've taken from us, from an idea.
It's a bit like anything. If you're starting your own business, you can buy cheap tools or you can buy the right tools.
That's right.
And if you buy the cheap tools, you're going to end up buying the right tools anyway.
You buy cheap, you buy twice.
Yeah.
And that's that. But that I think that's right across in life. I know guys who won't go to a network event because of a 50 quid ticket. You either have an expense mentality or an investment. And that's another thing I would encourage somebody who's maybe starting out, or even someone who's maybe down the road a bit, is that always look at something as an investment, not as an expense. Because if you have an expense type mentality, the reality is you'll see that right across your business. Last night, okay, I was blessed with a ticket. It was 70 quid or whatever, but I met some fantastic people. And whether I do business in that room or not is irrelevant. I'm changed because of the environment. I'm changed, as I said already, because I've been in this environment and seen the setup. So I had some takeaways from the experience today, and that's the key. That any experience you go out, whether you have a setback, if any setback, I always try to use as a setup for the future. What have I done wrong? How did I not get caught like this again? And how can I actually do it better the next time? If you wanted to give a bit of advice on the side of any startups or somebody who's maybe down the line, I'm part of a business development club called the 3 to 5 Club. But you can build a business in 3 to 5 years. It doesn't have you by the throat. It does exactly what you says. You get your business such a way you can take a week off a month off in a year, and everything doesn't go to hell in the handbasket.
Continues.
You know, and that's something now. We're not probably there yet. To be honest, I love what we do. I enjoy it. You know, if I've a bit of time off, I would always keep my hand in. My wife knows me what I'm like. I'm wired just. I find business owners are wired a wee bit different. I genuinely do. How long's Premier going?
10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah. Well, if you look back to what Premier was 10 years ago, or even 2 years ago,
Aye, different, totally different.
especially in our game, because we could throw statistics out about video
Your game
content.
must change an awful lot because you guys cover a lot. You guys cover a lot of bases.
You get somewhere and then there's new platform or the algorithm changes.
Do you want to tell the listeners what sort of things you do?
Yeah, certainly. Well, I'll let Alex do that.
Right,
I always said, it's important for me. This is one of the things I've recognised coming into the new year, is that we all go together. We'll maybe get touched on, but Alex, if you're in an elevator and you've got 2 minutes, you go up to the 7th floor.
Complete full creative agency, all in-house is probably the best way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you need without going anywhere else is in one building and one company managed by a fantastic team. Everything from your strategy right the whole way through to your website, photography, videography, your marketing, your ads, advanced going through into LinkedIn training, sales teams, senior executives. Everything is all managed in one place by one team, and there's no need to have bits and pieces all over, dished out to all sorts of people. We are in and around our clients and provide them with everything they need to get from here to here.
We effectively become your marketer.
Yeah.
We have instead of you employing a marketer, we have retainer packages that allows a person to look. I always said this: see if you can design, fantastic. If you can shoot video, fantastic, and you could put sales funnels, fantastic. The probability is you're working for yourself. Yeah. I think there's a lot of. I think how businesses look at marketers is very unfair. They expect them to do every single thing, and they genuinely can't. Because if they did, they'd be working for themselves. So we actually try to replace a marketer. Say if they've got a.
Going to say not everybody understands what marketing is as well. A lot of people think marketing is just advertising.
It's not. There's a lot to it, and it's wrong because when people business bring guys on, they think they're going to do video content, they're going to do fairly high end design, and it's unfair. How does LinkedIn work? How does the algorithm work on Instagram? And one of the things that I would also just say from a small business perspective, I'm conscious I'm speaking a lot, is that know your market. You know, whether that's B2B or B2C, you have to know your market because there's different people, different brand behaviors on different platforms from TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and especially LinkedIn, where I would spend most of my time, is that the different content bait that you have to put out is completely different from what I would maybe do on LinkedIn to maybe Instagram. The hooks have to be a wee bit different.
The behaviour's different, the feel's different as well.
Yeah.
There's professionalism, and then you can tone it back slightly for the likes of Instagram. But it's finding that balance, and a lot of people just don't really know what way to lean with certain platforms.
I can relate that. My content goes out in a lot of different channels, and the same content goes out on Instagram and both TikTok, but hardly anyone buys from TikTok. Yeah, because it's a totally different audience.
And in many ways, TikTok is probably looked at as dancing girls and crazy people and stuff like that. I think in many ways, and maybe Alex can touch on we teach the algorithm ourselves about what our viewing habits are. And I think this is some of the things we need to understand when we're actually putting content out. That as much as we like a certain thing, we are attracting, you attract who you are, you know, in many ways. And I think we need to understand that from an intelligence point of view when we are actually putting content out, that bad behaviours changed prior to COVID to what it is now. And because people are spending more time online now, you know, before COVID hit, there was I think the sales was in around 82% was people would buy stuff online. I would imagine that's increased. Certainly their ability to view things has went from when we were shooting video back in the day was 3.5-4 minutes. Ricky, I'd appreciate this now. If you get somebody to engage for 45 seconds, you're pushing it. Yeah. You need to have
people are used to the death scroll. Just scrolling. Yep.
That's it. And you need a hook. You've only got 3 seconds or whatever.
I think as well. There's a lot more content out there. There's a lot more people making it.
What makes you different from a year ago? Are you paddling the same stuff? What to say? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So we have to be brave enough to go. And not everything works. We make mistakes all the time. The key thing is to say, like, what did I do wrong? It's like split testing in the world of doing Facebook ads and stuff. You have to see what works. Was it the content? Was it the body of text? That didn't work. Why did that? Or sometimes I look at a post and I go, why did that work better than that? And I go and have a look at it.
What do you think the best way for people to measure that? So if you put posts on, do you use any software to manage that engagement to see what works
Well,
or what doesn't work?
if you're doing your ads, if you're the Facebook and Instagram ads, it's on your it's Meta Business. Your business suite will do that for you in the ads campaign manager. Henry's saying we would run a lot of split testing. One really good example is if we're selling the product and we've A'd and B'd it. On A, the creative would say 25% off. On B, the creative would say $15.99 off.
Yeah.
One's a percentage and one's a real figure. Which one does better?
Which ones
The
generally
figure, the
does?
money does better. Normally, when people see the money they're getting off, it does better. Or if one says free, it goes through the roof. But it'll come back and it'll tell you, here's your reach, here's your clicks, here's your conversion, and here's basically which one's doing better. And it'll go, we recommend your budget should go on B, and you agree with it, and then tweak it that way. So yes, Meta, the ads manager in Meta is very good for that.
Do you think Google or Facebook stroke Meta, which one do you think is more popular? Which one do you think has a better reach or can get you?
Again, it comes down to what who you are, who you're targeting. You know, at the end of the day, again, it comes back to B2B or B2C, and then it's down to like we do different. You know, we were on with a lady this morning, from London. Unfortunately, I'm an Arsenal man. She was a Spurs supporter. But that's not here there. We'll let that slide very quickly. But I was actually talking to her the other night, funny enough, on Zoom, and she didn't really understand her target market. She's in the current industry looking after elderly people. I said, well, your target market is probably people of my age who've got elderly parents. I don't have them, they're both dead. But people of my age so there's your target market. So it was good just to talk to her. So your content needs to be driven towards, because you're dealing with, you have to remember, and I had to be honest with you, here's me, you're dealing with guilt, because if you're going to put your parent in a home, you want to have that trust value. So that comes with your content. So, you know, I was like, she says she's never put herself out on any form of personal brand. I said, look, if I would want to know the person who runs this establishment, what type of services, what type of processes that went. So I had to expand her world coming from a person who's done really well in life, but never really had the need for social media. Now she does, because people's, as Alex has said, bad behaviours have changed, and now she wants to put herself out there.
Yeah, I think what you're saying, I think all businesses should be on every platform possible. Now, this then, with what Henry's saying,
really
it
hard.
depends on what your business is and what you'll lean more towards. You could be more heavy into the Meta ads. You could lay off the Google ads, or the big one is everyone will look at TikTok and go, my business has no need to be on TikTok. What can I do on TikTok? That's attraction. That is just reach. If you were to put content on TikTok, not knowing that no one's going to buy from you on TikTok, but there is a massive audience base on that that will put you from here above the next competitor.
You can see as well, if you listen,
Covered every basis, every platform.
I see in the radio at the minute, or listen to the radio, there's a lot of ads at the minute for TikTok, and they're actively saying, come on to TikTok to search for stuff. You'll find what you want on TikTok, and you can see them pushing it.
Yeah, there's no doubt. TikTok, again, it has to be embraced, but it's a mentality. You have to get your head around when you go on there. You maybe a lot of young
It's
people.
extremely informal.
It is informal.
Very short comedy pieces. If you are adding value, what we do is we put shorts of our business on it. We make sure that they're hyped, their cuts are quick, the editing's fast, and it's over 10 to 15 seconds.
What do you think the best editing platform is then for people out and about in their phones?
On the phone, we use one called CapCut.
That's what I use myself.
Absolutely brilliant piece of software.
I think I actually maybe picked that up from your day.
Well, you maybe did. Yeah.
Being able to edit on the phone really
even I
quickly
can
on
use
the go.
CapCut's absolutely brilliant. Even the bog standard free version that comes with it is amazing. Yes, you can get a pro version. CapCut, please sponsor me. Thank you, please. Very, very, very powerful app that's, again, in your pocket. Comes back to what you said earlier. Everything you need to make a video is in your pocket.
You could be waiting on a meeting, or you could be doing it.
One of the things also, like even through because this actually happened to me this morning, and Christopher and I shot a podcast on this thing. I did not know you'd done that, and we shot this about 6 months ago, and I got an invite from a lady to go and meet her in White Abbey. Well, I chose a location, and I met her this morning, and she's in the health and well-being, and she says, I want to talk to you about video. That was okay. So the next thing was, as she went on, she said, look, I'm getting a price for a website. And here's the thing. So my first reaction was, it's interesting you've actually brought me here, because you've pigeonholed me into video, right? And in reality, so that actually spoke to me about some of our messaging, which I've been actually working on for the last 6 weeks, is when people see you doing the one thing, and Christopher is always pigeonholed that he's a videographer and he's this, he's that, and the other. And Christopher's so much more than that. But that you need to obviously understand, because if you've got, say, a range of different services, if you have one thing, then that's okay. Be known for what you're known
The worst
for.
thing a customer can say to you is, I didn't know you did that service.
So my it was interesting. My mode of operandi sort of changed this morning when I started to then think, hold on a second, there's a website on the table here, and I then told her some of the rationales of why this is how a website is shaped. We always approach everything with a marketing perspective. I said, look, I give you a website and there you go. See in 3 months, you'll not have touched that. That's a fact. So what do we do around this from your video, from your marketing? I said, you're like, and this is how it ended up. It ended up where I said, look, I'll do your website. I'll also give you 2 months content. Because the reality is, it's like the cap cut. Unless we're somebody like you who's faithful and will sit at 10 o'clock at night or whatever, add up a video or a couple of videos or whatever. Most people will not do that. So therefore, they become an ad hoc poster. And consistency is the winner in marketing. People think marketing is this smoke and mirrors and stuff. It's not. It's great product presented in as professional way as you can do it on a consistent basis.
What do you think the top 5 things or top 10, the 5-10 things that a website should have?
We actually did this. I did a podcast. I was on
He was
our
made.
podcast.
Oh, happy days! It's ready to go. Then
I'm on our podcast,
okay.
and it's being edited as we speak. We left, and I'm being edited up. So this is actually on our podcast. But I'll tell you, the best thing is that in 2024, the way Henry kind of touched on it. If you get a website made and think, brilliant, I have a website, leave it there and walk away, that is just not the way to run a website anymore. Your website needs to actively and dynamically make you money and capture leads. That's the point. So if you want your 5 things, it needs to be ridiculously fast. That site needs to load in 2 seconds. Any more than 2 seconds, you've lost a potential client. They're going to your competitor. That's just the world we live in. It's too quick. It needs to be fast. It needs to load fast. It needs to be optimized fast. It needs to be modern. And when I say that, everything needs to be up to date. If we're running WordPress sites, if we're running Magento sites, they need to be completely to the top of their level, all updated. No security risks, no nothing, or you'll end up hacked if you leave it. We have a person we do a site for, and it was left for a couple of weeks, and even in that couple of weeks, the vulnerabilities and the fact that all the plugins had moved further.
Yeah.
Which means there needs to be constant eyes on that. There needs to be, but the way we look at the websites now is not just leave it and walk away. We want to make sure that each page on that site serves as a funnel, a sales funnel, so that when you're doing your stuff on your social, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, wherever it is, they're actively coming back to the site into a page that's specifically made for that service you're providing. It is detailed in a way that all it's doing at the very bottom is getting a name, an email address, and a telephone number that you can follow up.
Can you, without giving away too many of your secrets, can you give us Can you give us an idea of what that funnel should look like? How it should start, how it should finish?
A sales funnel is built in a way that it's a psychological process that actually affects the person choosing it. It starts at the very top of the pain point. That person, they've clicked on an ad or they've clicked on a bit of content that has sent them to this page. So they're there for a reason. So you've got them there. They're here for a reason. The very top is the pain point. They've a problem. You've the solution. So hit them where it hurts. Do you suffer this? Do you struggle with this? Do you hate this? They'll go, yeah, scroll down, introduce your product. Straight in, introduce who you are and what you're going to solve. Come down further from that again. Hit them with the USPs. 3, 4, 5 things. Why they should use you. Come down one more time. That's where you social proof it. That's your testimonials. If you have video testimonials from your clients, brilliant, put them in. If not, text is fine. Come down one more, then you're looking at your scarcity. You need a time-sensitive offer. That is, you've done all the bit at the top. You've got them that far. Hit them now with a time-sensitive offer.
That's something you see a lot now.
For the next 4 weeks, we are going to give you 20% off if you put your name below. The next down below that is name, email, phone number. And then what to do is we obviously have different metrics. We run Hotjar, which is heat mapping on sites. We have Metapixels. We've Google Analytics. We've a LinkedIn Insight tag, all on these pages. So we know, one, how far they're scrolling down. We know where the average stop is. We know who's clicking which buttons. And plus, once you're on that page, we have you as an audience, so then we can reserve you targeting ads. We can continue going, we know you were here, come back, and just continue that process.
I think that's a key metric, knowing how to set up the ads and then retargeting those people to pull them back.
That which cannot be measured can't be changed. What we try to do is come back to the measurement process and find out what worked, what didn't work, and how we can do it better.
If you're enjoying this podcast, it not only goes out on YouTube, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, and anywhere else you can hear a podcast. I just want to thank the guys from Creative 3 who came out. And
thank you for having us. It was absolutely brilliant. Really loved it.
And congratulations in the setup, and what you've achieved here is absolutely fantastic, mate. So
thanks very much.
Big pat in the back.
Thank you very much.
Good man.
Thank you, mate.
We'll hopefully get you back for another one.
Yeah.
Some point
bring the big fella in the next
season
one.
2.
Bring the boss in the next time.
Jason's in the next one. Let's go.